Hello, I'm Kevin Morrison. Welcome to SPS Now, the show that gives you a glimpse into what's happening in Spokane Public Schools and how it affects your student, family, and community. So let's take a look around Spokane Public Schools. Representatives from all SPS neighborhood schools and option programs will be at the enrollment fair on Saturday, January 21st from 9 a.m. to noon at Shadle Park High School. While there, parents can also learn about the Express Child Care, the AVID program, career and college readiness, educational technology in use at Spokane Public Schools, and much more. For students who want to attend a school other than their neighborhood school, the online enrollment center is open through February 15th. And if you have a kindergartner entering our district, registration at your neighborhood school begins on March 1st. For anyone who is researching SPS schools or just wants to get to know the district better, check out our Principal Portrait Series. These brief videos let you meet each of our 52 building principals, the people who help make Spokane Public Schools a great district for students and teachers. Thinking and Talking About Careers supports our district's T24 goal of preparing students to successfully complete some form of higher education, be it a technical school or a 2- or 4-year college. In 2011, long before Spokane Public Schools even had an official T24 goal, Hutton Elementary cafeteria manager Cheryl Neusmeyer started using lunchtime to expose students to career ideas. Let's take a look.
Apparently I started in 2011. Originally I just decided I wanted the kids to see professionals that they could emulate and, see what they look like in everyday life and that they're just real everyday people. They come in and they'll sit down and talk to the kids, or they'll help the cafeteria gals hand out straws and sporks. I've had people just sit down for like 5 and 10 minutes with one child that needed somebody to just talk to them about their future.
I put up 2 gigantic antennas, so the signal from this radio would go into one of my antennas.
I just like learning about new jobs, like what they do to get that job.
When T24 came in, I was just, that's exactly what I was getting to. And the fact that T24 starts them in kindergarten all the way through graduation thinking about their future, something that has never happened before. I'm very impressed with the philosophy of it and glad that I'm backing it up.
In that same T24 spirit, Spokane Public Schools' annual 5th grade career fair welcomed nearly 100 local businesses, colleges, and individuals to the convention center where they help spark career ideas in Spokane Public School students.
Having a career fair for 5th graders is fun because you get to learn new stuff.
I didn't know that there was so many jobs out there.
It really helps them see what their future can be. So they have a plan A and a plan B.
I want to learn about all the different careers since I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do when I grow up. And I also want to learn about some of the nearby colleges because I'm probably going to a college in Washington.
Well, I thought the police department was pretty cool because they fight crime and they they save people. The dental hygienist. Seeing the Air Force was really cool.
I don't know, physical therapists, FBI.
Firefighters.
We went and pet the dog, the canine.
I like how there's so many, and it's also hard to choose.
I got to see a lot of people that I saw last year, but they don't go to my school anymore.
When you're at school, your teacher gives you this paper, and then you think that's a boring job, but when you come here, you think that's really interesting, and then you just figure out that you want to be that person.
I want to be a teacher when I grow up, NBA player, or an engineer.
Go in TV and tell about the news, what's going on.
I want to take care of animals.
I want to be a YouTuber.
I want to be a cosmetologist. Be like a deep sea diver. Teacher.
I wanted to work for NASA and like work in their engineering department. I kind of want to be like a filmmaker or something. A kindergarten teacher.
I would like to do video game developing or computer programmer.
Me and my friends want to be a Seahawks cheerleader. I'm not sure.
I do like the idea of being an author or something related to news channels, acting, something where I can be on camera. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Keep in mind that SPS students are being dismissed an hour and 15 minutes early on 8 more Fridays this school year, allowing teachers time to work with peers around student improvement. Release times on these Fridays are 1:45 p.m. for elementary, 2:15 p.m. for middle school, and 1:15 p.m. for high school students. Parents and guardians, to receive reminders about these dates, please make sure your contact information is current with us. Each year, the Chase Youth Commission honors our community's outstanding youth, teens, and an adult who are making a difference in our community or making positive choices. Categories for the 2017 Chase Youth Awards includes arts and creativity, community involvement, and cultural awareness, along with leadership and others. The deadline for nominations is January 20th, and the awards are presented at the Fox Theater on March 2nd. I'm joined now by Spokane Public Schools Board President Dina Brower and Restorative Practices Facilitator Fred Schrumpf. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks. More and more school districts are using social sciences to foster kind of a more positive climate in the schools, and it's known as restorative practices. Fred, give us an idea for someone, the layperson, what is restorative practices?
Well, restorative practices is a strategy that schools can use to respond to conflicts or respond to misbehaviors of students that help build a stronger school climate and a safer school climate. A lot of times when there is misbehaviors and conflicts happen, harm is created and relationships are broken. And so restorative practices is a way to rebuild relationships, identify the harm that's been created, and try to fix that harm with all the people who have been involved, and then also make a plan for the next time to prevent that harm from happening. So it's a way that schools have been pretty successful in reducing out-of-school suspensions, and it's also been a way to build a much stronger and safer school climate. There's a bunch of different ways of approaching these whole restorative practices, and we start with teaching our teachers how to do restorative dialogues, of asking students, tell us more what happened, tell us what you need, tell us how you're thinking and feeling at the time, and how can we make a plan for the future. Teachers also talk to students about what they need from the students and what the expectations in the classroom are, but hopefully by working together, they can make plans, and these plans can be agreements, and therefore the misbehavior doesn't continue to happen.
So, Director Brower, or President Brower, I'm sorry, how does this fit into Spokane Public Schools?
Sure. Well, we have new guidelines from the state that would like for us to not exclude students for behavior purposes. So this is a strategy that allows us to address conflict or, say, misbehavior while maintaining attendance in school. At the same time, though, we're really fostering positive relationships. So it takes what we used to do, which is addressing behavior, but really balances it out with teaching, the teaching component, not just the punitive component. And I mean, we are an education system. Our goal is to teach our students in our schools not only their curriculum but also life skills to promote successful futures. And so the restorative practices help to address behaviors and conflict resolution in a positive manner.
And Fred, I know you've done a lot of work in this and a lot of research in this. So what have you seen this do for different school communities and our school community in particular?
Well, I think one of the fundamental things is it holds kids accountable in a different way. Rather than often more of a punitive approach where there is a consequence, but it doesn't change behavior. In this way, holding kids accountable by fixing the harm and making a plan for the future, we're not seeing as many students reoffend over and over again. And so it's really, many teachers have said it's improved their relationship with students. Many counselors who are doing mediations with students, it has decreased in the number of peer-peer, student-student conflicts because students will resolve it rather than just separating them. A lot of times we separate kids and put them out. This approach actually brings them in with more people around them and gives them more support so the behavior actually changes. And so that's what we're looking for.
Great. I want to play a clip, mention that specifically. You mentioned how an interventionist or a counselor might do it, and we do have a clip of our student intervention specialist up at Shaw, Tommy Williams, with a healing circle at Shaw Middle School that we'd like to play.
Hello, my name is Tommy Williams, and I am a healing circle mediator. So a healing circle is an opportunity for students to come together and resolve conflict, and especially for our middle school students, because they're at a point, they're kind of in this tweener stage, coming from elementary and going into high school, that we only have 2 years to kind of help them resolve conflict in a manner that is safe for students, staff, and teachers. And so the goal for us today is to resolve conflict because we've heard that there are some things going on with Sarah, and Sarah's very hurt by it. So my work in the past 6 years have been around anti-bullying and harassment. The thing that we found in all of the schools that we worked with is that when you talk about bullying and you talk about these situations over and over again, when the students feel like they're not getting any help and they need help with resolving a conflict, then that's when you need to have a restorative practice within the school. The students learn how to repair the harm done in their community, but then also with repairing the harm done in their community, they're actually able to say an apology to that victim. The victim is actually able to say, you know what, this is how you hurt me and this is how it affected my life. And a lot of times people don't get a chance to see the harm that they've done. They get suspended from school, they come back to school, and they get back in the classroom. Well, that victim didn't ever have a chance to really talk about how it affected them. So doing a restorative model with an anti-bullying program, that is a true program that's a wraparound service for them.
Anything to add to that, Fred?
Well, I think it's a good illustration of what happens at many of our secondary buildings and our in-school intervention rooms, where mediations and restorative dialogues and healing circles can happen. And hopefully the students leave the healing circle or a mediation with a resolution that will hold, and it will hold for now and hold for the future, but it also has a positive effect overall on the school climate, and that's what we're looking for as well.
Great. And President Brower, what's next for restorative practices in Spokane Public Schools?
Well, we look forward to supporting our staff in their training and working with mentors and facilitators to learn how to facilitate these types of conversations so that in turn our staff can support our students, and then we can see the restorative practices being used in our schools.
So we'll start seeing it moving forward, and it's already in place, right. And those relationships are building as we speak. We look forward to the work that's being done, and thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
On each episode of SPS Now, we highlight one of our many community partners. At the Core connects with businesses, community groups, and faith-based organizations to fight hunger and meet other needs of students around Spokane through the Bite to Go program. We caught up with Lewis and Clark High School DECA students, where they recently helped start a new program that ensures students there don't go hungry at home.
The Bite to Go program really started at the elementary school level. We now have over 60 fabulous businesses and churches that have adopted an elementary school, and they are feeding the kids on the weekend, delivering the food, and then doing a lot more in the way of mentoring and reading and so on. Now we're starting the high school program.
We started thinking about middle school, high school, what do we do for them? And the traditional model was to set up a school pantry. The problem with a school pantry is there's a stigma attached to that. And so this model just fits so much better because it protects their identity, that they can receive food, but receive it in a really unique way that's through a trusted teacher.
So they can go in and close the door and discreetly get this sack of food out, put it in their backpack, and take it home. The way the food gets there is a DECA club or a leadership club orders, inventories, packs, delivers the food with just a student number. And so you end up with kids in the school serving other kids in the school without knowing who they are.
We're just trying to fill in a gap. We have free lunch at schools, but when you get home, even in the affluent society of America and the city of Spokane, we still have students that are hungry over the weekends. We don't want to shame anybody out of this. We just want everybody who needs food to get food.
So many organizations throughout our community will raise money and do a project. But this program has created that every week connection to build a lasting relationship. So I think it's really important for organizations to have that because it keeps them in the game. It keeps them connected with the school and the community, and it just built a really strong relationship.
I'm joined now by SPS Special Program Coordinator Brett Dodd and Heart Homeless Liaison Sarah Miller. Welcome to you both for being here.
Thank you.
The Heart program serves our homeless population. And Brett, you want to give us a little background on it and
Sure.
how that particularly works within Spokane Public Schools?
Yep. So the Heart program, along with the fact that Sarah and I have tremendous heart for our homeless students, the program is grounded in law. So our role really is to implement the McKinney-Vento Act, which was passed in 1987, which provides protection and services for students who, by the school definition, are determined to be homeless. Our school definition of homelessness is broader than the typical HUD, or Housing and Urban Development definition. And Sarah is excellent at going over the definition, so I'm going to swing it over to her for just the definition real quickly.
So homeless students under the McKinney-Vento Act are identified as those students who are lacking a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. And specifically that includes families or students who are living in shelters, living in cars, parks, abandoned buildings, who are sharing the housing of others due to a loss of housing or economic hardship, who are living in hotels or motels. And so all of those qualifications can count as being homeless within under our law. And those students can be identified either with their families as parent and children, or the students can be identified by themselves. So a youth who is by themselves couch surfing perhaps may be also identified as homeless.
How are these students identified? How does this particularly work? I mean, if I'm a student, I'm a high school student, and I really don't have a place.
So the federal McKinney-Vento law says that school districts have to do a proactive search for students who are homeless. And so our district has implemented a method. We don't care how you get to us, how we're identified, and we try to be as open a process as possible. So we have many families who just hear about us through their grapevine in the community and just give us a call. We have wonderful connections with other community organizations who refer families directly to us. We have our counselors, our office staff, our school lunch people, bus drivers who will all refer families. And we also do a housing questionnaire for each new student who enters the district, and annually we do an enrollment verification form to every student in the district. So we send out 30,000 of those enrollment verification forms, and we're looking for the family to identify one of those situations that I talked about earlier. Then we reach out and contact the family, let them know about the program and what kind of services and supports we can offer, and try to get them connected with us.
Secondly, primarily what we do is we provide school stability. So typically before the law, students might be, if they're moving to a shelter or they're doubled up somewhere, they were moving from school to school. So what we do, once they're enrolled, is we seek to stabilize their school situation. So that means protecting what's known as their school of origin. So Sarah and her staff coordinate transportation so that the family doesn't miss school. The other piece is that sometimes we're having families that might not be even in school. So the law provides families and students with immediate enrollment. So even if they are lacking certain typical address verification or school records, they are enrolled immediately. And we've done outreach with our schools so they understand that. Lastly, and this is kind of a really big piece, is that we look to remove barriers that to full participation in school and school-related activities. So that's the way the law reads. So there's quite a bit of work that we do departmentally and then across the system to address those barriers.
And the new changes in law, how are they going to be affecting us, Sarah?
Some of the great things prior to this new law is this was for kindergarten through 12th grade. So under this new provision, we also are including public preschool programs so that those children can be included in the supports and services. So that early education and getting kids right away is being added. So that is beautiful. The next thing is that prior, it was just that single school, so at that grade level. So if you were attending Grant Elementary School and homeless for multiple years, once you got up to that middle school level, you would have to go to the local school, and so you wouldn't follow your peers along that path. So now under this new law, we follow that feeder school or that receiving school pattern so that the students can stay with their peer group, with the people that they've gone to school with, getting that same educational consistency.
So it's all about that continuum of care and continuity in the entire system because we know those supports are needed.
Oh my goodness, yes. And all we want to do is make sure kids can get an education, stay in a safe place, have meals, and then go on to become really productive adults who can then just blossom and do wonderful things for our community.
Great. How can the Spokane community help with the HEART program at all?
Well, a number of ways. We are, in a lot of ways, we are an unfunded mandate. Sarah and I, each 3-year cycle, we write a very extensive grant to OSPI. So we're one of maybe 8 school districts around the state that get a 3-year grant cycle to help fund positions and supports. So we do that. The Spokane, it's the Spokane Foundation.
Spokane Schools Foundation.
Spokane Schools Foundation has helped us out with some of the things that we can't do with some of our federal dollars. Things like even shoes and
shoes, winter coats. We also got to start a wonderful group out at Shaw this year to just bring this group of students who's willing to participate to create a community amongst themselves. So they're doing, self-identification and working on what will help them in school and just kind of creating a network of support. But there's some program costs that come with that. So we can't use our other dollars for that. So the Spokane Schools Foundation has provided us with a grant to do those extra things to create that community amongst the students to help push each other further, with us hopefully lighting the way to that. We have right now identified 816 students today who have been identified through our program. So one of the things that our community can do is help to be mentors to these students. We in the HEART program don't have a mentorship program, but the schools have those programs. Our program is meant to support the schools and support the students. So those mentorship programs that are at so many of our schools with Boys and Girls Clubs, Youth for Christ, I think, has some in our schools, and all of these things, we need people to participate. We need adults to come in and to come alongside our kids to provide that encouragement and that mentorship, to come in and do a study group or some tutoring with students who are needing that after school. And those clubs that already come into the school, we just need to keep filling those up so that our homeless students can join in with all of the other students, receive those supports like everybody else does, and not be flagged out because they're homeless, who can just go into those natural things that are at the schools.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both for the work that you do in helping this unfortunately growing problem that we're seeing in Spokane Public Schools and across the nation as well, I understand. To learn more, go to the web address at the bottom of your screen. Last month, students across SPS and the world recognized International Computer Science Education Week by participating in the Hour of Code. This 1-hour introduction to computer science and computer programming is a global movement reaching tens of millions of students in more than 180 countries. We spoke to students at the community school who organized a school Hour of Code event early in December.
So today we're doing Hour of Code. All around the world there's so many different schools and they're all coding, so that way people can understand the importance of coding because it's a big thing in our lives.
Code is everything. It's behind your apps, it's in computers, and you don't even realize it.
With Hour of Code, the beginners learn and the advanced kids just get to test their skills.
When you get on the computer and you start to code, you kind of have a light bulb moment for some people, and that can really inspire people to start looking into careers for computer science or I don't know, I'm into cybersecurity.
Most programmers, especially female programmers, have so many different opportunities in their lives that you'll never get in any other field.
I'm not really planning on going into a computer science field, but it's always good to know about how computers work.
Just doing things on computer was really hard for me, so I thought it would be a good idea to learn it, and I just have a really good time doing it.
It's just fun to play around with these languages that other people don't understand, but the world really runs on now.
And on a related note, the community school just started offering AP Computer Science courses this year. Remember that you can learn more about the community school and our other option schools at Shadle Park High School on January 21st during the SPS Enrollment Fair. Whether you're a parent, a student, or a member of the Spokane community, we'd love to see you get involved with your district. Regular meetings are held the second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. in the boardroom of the Spokane Public School Administration Building located at 200 North Bernard. If you'd like to make a comment to the board, complete a yellow card when you arrive at the meeting. The school board president will invite you to speak during the time set aside for public comments. Anyone requiring an auxiliary aid or service should call 509-354-7268 at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Meeting agendas are available online, or you can request one by mail. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks for watching, Spokane. This show is available alongside our other SPS programming at spokaneschools.org/stories. And it will air again on Comcast Channel 17 from January 13th through January 19th. You can find links to more information about anything mentioned during this show by visiting spokaneschools.org/SPS Now. We'll leave you with some scenes from the Ferris Winter Wonderland concert. Until next time, good night and have a great week.
Gloria, Gloria.